Here at the university, we're very fortunate in IFAS to have a broadly based team that spans the entire area of work.
We all come with different backgrounds, and when you're a team from diverse backgrounds, you oftentimes get things done more thoroughly and faster.
All of that requires a multidisciplinary approach, and that's why this team approach to research is so powerful.
In 1862, the Morrill Land Grant Act established the framework for land grant institutions like the University of Florida. Much has changed since then, but the mission of UF's Institute of Food and Agricultural Sciences is still relevant today. And IFAS research is still generating new knowledge to address the critical needs of Florida's agriculture and natural resource industries. IFAS scientists are committed to using an interdisciplinary approach to tackle the new and complex challenges of living in the 21st century. They know that breakthroughs and innovations are necessary to keep Florida's farmers, industries, and natural resources among the best in the nation. Here is just a quick look at some of the groundbreaking interdisciplinary work being done by IFAS researchers. The Pine Map project brings together a diverse group of researchers from UF's School of Forest Resources and Conservation to study planted pine forest in the southeastern U.S. The project is funded by a $20 million grant from the USDA's National Institute of Food and Agriculture and aims to increase carbon sequestration by improving the management of planted pine forests. Scientists are also working to understand how to continue sustainably managing this valuable resource as climate changes.
Pine Map is an example of a project that's large enough, involves enough people, and is interdisciplinary enough to actually have an impact on the real world at a regional scale.
The University of Florida is partnering with more than 50 researchers, educators, and extension professionals from 11 land-grant universities. The goal is to create cutting-edge understanding of natural resources and their management, and to disseminate that knowledge to the private landowners that manage 40 million acres of planted pine forest in the Southeast. A new irrigation study shows that many Florida landscapes may be receiving considerably more water than they need to be visually appealing. Researchers with UF's Environmental Horticulture, Agronomy, and Agricultural and Biological Engineering departments set up established mixed-species landscape test plots with turfgrass and ornamental plants. They then controlled the amount of water the plots received, collected any runoff, and monitored their visual appearance. Results showed that established landscapes could maintain good appearance with up to 40% less irrigation than recommended levels.
Some of the results from this project indicate that during peak periods that the mixed species landscapes can receive irrigation anywhere from once a week to every 1.5 weeks or so and still maintain very good quality.
Researchers also found that in many cases, landscape irrigation occurs at a rate substantially higher than recommended levels, and that cost savings could be far greater than this study shows. Computer models are giving researchers, professional anglers, and policymakers a better idea of how to manage fisheries in the Gulf of Mexico. UF scientists are partnering with the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission to determine the impacts and trade-offs of policy changes in bag limits, size limits, and temporary closings. This Sea Grant-funded study is the first of its kind in Florida to consider the ecological and economic impacts of management changes.
More and more, it's critical that we have information like this to make informed decisions about management. It's important to people, it's important through the regulatory process to use science to make those decisions.
IFAS scientists are working together to streamline the production and conversion of energy crops like sweet sorghum to biofuels. Molecular geneticists are developing new varieties of sweet sorghum that are better adapted to growing in the Florida environment. Agronomists are developing best management practices for growing these new sorghum varieties. Microbiologists and agricultural engineers are working to simplify the conversion of sweet sorghum biomass to biofuels. Researchers recently took the next step in their work by opening the Stan Mayfield biorefinery pilot plant. This new plant will allow the continuous processing of biomass materials and facilitate the study of interfaces linking engineering and biological process steps.
This plant has each of the individual steps integrated and allows us to optimize the interface between biology and engineering steps in a way that's really not possible in the bench scale operations.
The goal is development of simpler, more efficient, and less costly processes for the production of fuels and chemicals from homegrown biomass as a replacement for imported petroleum. UF horticulture scientists are studying how much nitrogen it takes to make the Florida peach industry bloom. The state's unique climate allows growers to bring their fruit to the market earlier and capitalize on higher prices. But there is little to no information on how to maximize tree growth and fruit quality in the Florida environment. Now a new study is looking at the optimal nitrogen rates for growing peaches in Florida.
The long-term goal of this project is to reduce the amount of nitrogen so that we are putting it on to make sure the trees live the longest that's possible here in Florida, and to give us consistently high fruit quality while minimizing the impact on the environment.
Nitrogen fertilizer is expensive, and using too much can cause leaching and runoff into groundwater. Researchers from many disciplines are working together to examine nitrogen fertilization, irrigation, and frost protection. These scientists are also developing new varieties that have better disease resistance and are better adapted to growing in the Florida environment. A new system of crop rotation is helping young farmers turn a profit and stay out of debt. This sod-based system rotates bahia grass, peanuts, cotton, and winter grazing for cattle. Researchers from UF's North Florida Research and Education Center are teaming up with colleagues in Alabama and Georgia to show farmers the benefits of this new system. Studies show that this system can increase peanut yields by as much as 1,500 pounds and cotton yields by 300 pounds per acre. And at the same time, it can reduce water use and the need for pesticides.
We have decreased pesticide use probably 60% versus a standard rotation. Depending on the year, we have been from 25 to 50% less irrigation water use.
The system also adds organic matter to the soil and improves soil conditions for future crops. IFAS microbiologists, in partnership with doctors from UF's College of Medicine, are trying to predict and prevent type 1 diabetes in children. Researchers suspect this autoimmune disease is triggered by a perfect storm of conditions in the body that starts with microbes in the gut. These aberrant microbes create a leaky gut condition that creates a flood of antigens going into the body. Scientists believe these microbes are present in the body since birth.
We hope we can develop an early diagnosis to predict kids who might become autoimmune just after birth. And we hope we can develop a therapy that once we've identified those children, we can prevent it.
The goal is to identify the microbes that trigger this immune response and prevent the body from destroying its insulin-producing cells. If they can prevent the trigger, then they can prevent type 1 diabetes. IFAS research is learning more, doing more, and creating more by bringing together many disciplines to address the challenges facing Florida. IFAS scientists are collaborating to better answer critical questions. And they're gaining new knowledge to make industries more profitable, to better manage natural resources, and to improve the lives of Florida citizens. Times change, problems may change, but the mission of IFAS research remains the same. IFAS scientists will continue to adapt to meet the changing demands of this growing world. With world-class scientists, state-of-the-art equipment, and groundbreaking partnerships, IFAS researchers are setting the stage for a healthier, more prosperous, and more sustainable future.